Karting has been a core part of my life since I was a young boy. I started racing when I was 7 years old and I have done ever since. It is a key passion in my life and it is one way I feel I can express myself with movements involved. Driving my kart is one of my favourite things to do, especially in the wet conditions. This is because it requires more skill, attention and finesse to make sure you get around the corner with speed and accuracy, more so than it does in typical dry conditions. It takes much time and practice to get it right and to make minimal mistakes. The wet conditions make it tricky and also add a substantial amount of unpredictability to the task at hand.
As a learner, this was my first time in a kart and a new experience for me. Johnny, the expert kart driver, taught me how to take a tight corner correctly.
In karting, taking a tight corner turn correctly is important for an optimal time or position in a race. Corners must be executed accurately to ensure an advantage over your opponent. It is also a safety precaution knowing how to take a corner correctly, as if you perform it wrong, the driver or other drivers may be harmed.
This movement can be an objective as the learner can watch it being done. It can also be objectified while the driver takes the corner and somebody else observes and studies the movement involved. Lastly, it can also be self-aware subjective as the driver is experiencing it for themselves.
Here we analyse the temporal phasing of turning a corner. The first phase of turning a corner is the preparation phase, which happens when approaching a corner. The hub of a body is sitting over the base of support and is facing towards the corner. The body weight is distributed all over the kart. The head and the trunk are facing towards the apex of the corner. The arms are both extended in front of the body and are holding the steering wheel. The legs are also extended, however the right leg is fully extended so as to apply pressure to the accelerator. The second phase, or the execution of the turn, happens around the middle of the corner. This is where most of the movement happens. Again, the path of hub is sitting over the base of support and the body weight is distributed amongst the kart. The head is facing towards the next target. The trunk is facing towards the next target also. The arms are extended and holding the steering wheel. The right arm is fully extended, but the left arm is slightly bent, allowing for the turning of the steering wheel. The legs are also extended the same as before. The third and final phase of turning a corner, or the follow-through stage, is very similar to the previous two stages, except for the head is facing towards the next target, which is the next corner.
The three learning phases. Cognitive learning phase. The learner was shown how to execute the maneuver before trying it. The teacher broke the movement down into three parts to make it more simple. The learner was offered visual guidance until at a more advanced stage. Associative learning phase. The learner was able to advance to the associative phase, which allowed him to try the maneuver in the kart after watching the teacher several times. After the learner had attempted the maneuver, the teacher has observed and offered verbal guidance to improve technique and style. Lastly, autonomous learning phase. After several hours of repetitive movement and feedback, the learner had become familiar with the movement involved in the maneuver. The learner was able to execute this action with little to no consciousness or awareness at the conclusion of the day on the tracks.
What's going on?